Welcome to the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast with your host, hailing from Kaukauna, Wisconsin, riding a CST tires, SSI decals, traveling back Yamaha YFZ450R, four-time ATV motocross national champion, number 25. Cody Jansen.
What's up, everybody?
We're back.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, episode 128 of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, CST Tires, in stock and available for purchase today at shop.csttires.com. I'm your host, Cody Jansen, saying hello to our more than 243,000 monthly Digging Deep listeners in all 106 countries in which you are listening. And on this episode, we're joined by Scott Newby from Yamaha as the manufacturer starts to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the YFZ. In the year 2004, Yamaha took the sport quad market by storm with their release of the industry-changing YFZ450. A handful of years later, we saw the release of the revamped fuel-injected model, the YFZ450R, and today, 2 decades later, we are living in the YFZ450R era of ATV racing. This episode revolves around the YFZ turned YFZ450R and the manufacturer continuing to value and support the sport that we love so much. Here's to Yamaha. Now, before we dig too deep, let's quickly shout out all of our incredible partners. CST Tires, go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew, thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Namura Technologies, Bronco ATV and UTV Components, Lauderdale Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, the financial advice of the Haymauer Financial Group, DP Brakes, Factory 43, Binky's Forever ATC Museum, Impact Solutions, Ultimate Poly Products, UPP Racing, our choice when it comes to case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more, and Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with code DIGGINGDEEP20 at manscaped.com. Get the best stocking stuffer of the season by going to manscaped.com and using code DIGGINGDEEP20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Whether it's the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the GOAT of electric razor trimmers, my favorite, the Beard Hedger Pro Kit from Manscaped, or the best nose hair trimmer ever created, the Weed Whacker 2.0, get 20% off and free shipping with code DIGGINGDEEP20 at manscaped.com. I say it time and time again, so freaking rad that Manscaped is continuing to invest in ATV racing as a longtime partner of Digging Deep. Now you can help us keep them in the fold and involved in ATV racing by using our Digging Deep 20 code so they know you enjoy Digging Deep and what we're all about. Support all the great companies that support us, and for any products that fall through the cracks, click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website to help us out. Preparations for the 2024 season should be in full swing, and no matter what off-road gear parts you need, Rocky Mountain ATVMC has you covered. But before you buy, simply click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website. By using our specific link, we get a small percentage of what you buy on the back end, enabling you to help us out while purchasing the parts you need anyway. And did you know you can buy OEM parts from Rocky Mountain ATVMC as well? Yep, shipped conveniently right to your door. So click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner at diggingdeepatvmx.com to help us out while satisfying all your gear and parts needs. No new donors to shout out this week, but shout out to all of our past and present donors, of course. Now, if you're interested in donating and hearing your name on the show, you can find the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee donation links on our website. Major thanks to all who have donated. If you can't donate, but you still want to help us out, you can leave us a rating or review on iTunes and Spotify. That helps us out a bunch too. Now it's showtime. The 30-second board is up, it's sideways, and the gate is down. Time to dig deep.
Let's go!
All right, guys, we're back for another episode of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, and I'm super pumped to talk to this guy. Brought to you by Ultimate Poly Products. UPP Racing has been producing American-made case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more since 1998. Join top pro riders like Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler by using UPP Racing's industry-leading products. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com to save on your next order. It's a pleasure to have this guy in front of me, my guy Scott Newby from Yamaha. Scott, thanks so much for making a little time for me here on this Friday. Welcome back to Digging Deep, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it, Cody. Always good to be here, and thank you for the time.
So it's been a little while, pal. We talk relatively regularly amongst the two of us, but the last time we had you on the show here was episode 37 when Joel Hetrick announced his move to Yamaha in November of 2020. So nearly 100 episodes. Feels like a lifetime ago. Feels like we've seen Joel on a Yamaha now for as long as we can remember. That's sure aged well, as Joel has won 2 titles and about 1 million races on the YFZ since the switch. And since then, so many people have followed suit. We can get into that as we go here. But Scott, being that it's been a little while since we last had you on, and I'm sure we've gained a lot of listeners since then. So fill my listeners in on your role at Yamaha. You and I were recently chatting about 2024 things, and I mentioned wanting to get you back on the show to discuss a few fun topics. But before we get into all that, tell my listeners about your role at Yamaha.
Yeah, so I am the ATV and side-by-side senior communication specialist. You can call it what you will, kind of more of an HR thing than anything else. But honestly, I just handle everything from like a visual communication standpoint on the four-wheel product. And that could be anything from working with racers, promoting our product, going out and doing events, doing rides, and just getting in front of consumers, getting in front of media. I mean, anything to kind of get the message out there and really just talk about how great Yamaha is.
And not only that, Scott, but for my money, you have the coolest job of anybody that I know, because it seems like you're always doing something fun. You're always on the go. You're riding stuff. You're hunting. You're doing all kinds of fun stuff for the Yamaha cause. So like I said, for my money, you got the coolest job out there, pal.
No, I appreciate it. It's funny because, I definitely come a long way with the company over 16 years now, and it's just awesome. I always make the joke that, the great thing about Yamaha is we have a very diverse product line, so there's always something going on. The hard thing about Yamaha is we have a very diverse product line, so there's always something going on. It's like you see this huge corporation, this huge company, you think like, oh man, your Yamaha's got to have like so many people working there. It's like, yeah, there's a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, like there's really not all that many people. So it's cool. You get to play a lot of hats, like you said. I could be going from a race one weekend to a hunt to going ice fishing. And anything in between. But that's just definitely what makes it great. And just when we have that durable, reliable product behind us too, it's just like it makes it all more easy for me in a sense, because you're just out there having fun, enjoying the adventure, just like our customers do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, to have a profession too that is like just such a rad company to work for has to be a dream come true. 16 years though, you said, with the company. That was going to be one of my questions. So tell me like how it started, where it started, and then how it progressed. Tell me kind of a little bit of that story there.
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing is, like, I've always been in the motorsports industry. I grew up racing and riding myself on 2 wheels, and worked at a dealership for a while there when I was racing, to try to make ends meet and get the discount and all that. And then from there, once I graduated college, got on board with Maxxis Tires. It was kind of like a sponsor for me at the time there too. And then spent a couple of years there, ended up getting connected with some Yamaha folks, and they really wanted me to have me on board. And yeah, so they hired me on as a district manager, went out and did that for like 7 years. Was there 5? I don't know. It was a lot of years in like the Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee area.
Okay.
Got moved up to Western PA, cover that area as well. And then there was this position that was open. It was like a PR associate, public relations associate or something like that for the longest time. And so I reached out to Mark Martinez, who is our now president for the motorsports company, and just kind of like picked his brain on it and showed interest, because they didn't have a lot of people that had a lot of like 4-wheel experience or even like the outdoor experience as well. And I kind of had all that in a sense. And so more or less negotiated my way in, and yeah, man, just been loving this position, this job, and of course Yamaha ever since. But yeah, 16 years now, man. It's just so comical because we're continuing to grow. So you go in the office, we have like a bunch of interns that come in from Kennesaw State, and working for us. Some like get hired, but even new positions overall. But
wow.
Usually I travel so much that you mentioned that a lot of times, you come back in the office, you meet new people, and like, oh, hey, are you new too? Like, nice to meet you. I'm like, nah, I've been here for 16 years. I just travel a lot, but great company, great people to say the least.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Like I said, to work for somebody as rad as Yamaha. And you touched on the fact that it's so diverse. I mean, it's diverse in the motorsports sense, obviously, and then it's diverse from, from pianos to, whatever else on the other end of the spectrum. It's insane, but that's pretty special. I love to hear people's stories from where it starts, because a lot of people start very similar to, like you're saying, whether it's in a dealership, and then for so many racers, right? For so many racers, it is, you find a sponsor and you have a little in, and they know you as a person and know your strengths and all those things. And then you find this path. Just awesome to hear that story, and especially see where you're at now, and waving the Blue Crew flag. I love it. And that was going to be one of my other questions. You kind of already hit on that, is I was going to ask you if you were always interested in motorsports, because I didn't know that you necessarily had a racing background. So was it GNCC? Was it two-wheel GNCC, or was it motocross? You can elaborate on that a little bit as well.
Yeah. I so started out in the two-wheel stuff, and just always loved riding everything. Rode a four-wheels with my brother growing up, and then my neighbor, when I lived down in Georgia, he was racing hare scrambles. So it's like, oh man, like I'll go and race with you, like no big deal. The funniest thing is, like, total aside, but my very first race, man, like it was like a bone stock CR250 or something, and like I get out in the line, and like I think I was probably 100 yards in. I laid the thing down, washed out the front end, and like clutch perch broke off. I'm like, dude, like I spent all this time, money, and I went like 100 yards, and that was it. Like I tried to fix it, wasn't able to do anything, but yeah, did that for a few years. It started in the GNCCs and everything as well. But then my buddy, when I worked at it was Proline Motorsports, is here out here in Duluth, Georgia, no longer around. They leveled the building and everything, but my buddy like finally convinced me to go on a motocross track. So I'm like, dude, all right, fine, I'll go, whatever. And then I went out, and it's like I had a total blast. But then at the end of the day, it's like, dude, I get back, my bike's clean. I pretty much just like, cleaning the dust off, change the oil filter, like all that, or the air filter, all that stuff. It's like, man, usually when I get back from like a GNCC or the woods, anything like practicing, like you're working on a thing nonstop for like
Destroyed.
The next week, Exactly. So I'm like, I want to follow this path instead, and just kind of did some local stuff, just having fun with it. And yeah, that's kind of like my motorsports history and background. And that's what got me into that position with Max, is it got me with Yamaha. It's just funny, like you mentioned, with having such an awesome job, but it's like, a lot of people just think like, oh yeah, you just got there, but like me and you, man, it's like, no, man, we cut our teeth for a long time, so it's that build up all throughout. But yeah, good stuff.
Well, and the cool thing is too, like from my position, to be in a role similar to like in the realm of a hobby you had, I'm sure it like makes work not feel as much like work, right? Like I'm sure, you have a family, right? So traveling, that comes with pros and cons or whatever. But yeah, like to have something, that's everybody's dream, right? Is to have a job where it doesn't necessarily feel like you're working a 9 to 5, and you're also doing something that you love. Like that's really at the root of why I wanted to hear about that from you, because that's what everybody dreams of, man.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier to swallow when you're out there doing those long nights and long trips, back-to-back stuff. Now I'm already looking at my calendar for next year and apologizing to my wife in advance, just knowing it's going to be pretty arduous. And it's funny too, because I even brought out a couple of people from in the office out to my previous events earlier in the year, just like, get them a different experience, different exposure. And, because they always see like, the tip of the iceberg that I post on social. It's like, oh yeah, look how much fun I'm having. But then they come out to the event, it's like, you're up early, you're grinding all day nonstop, and then you're going out to dinner late at night with all the people that you're entertaining, and then same thing over and over again. And like, dude, they were exhausted by the end of the trip. And more often than not, they're like, do I have to go to dinner tonight? Like, no offense, but I'm just freaking whipped. And like, yeah, dude, that's completely fine. I understand. But, it's not all sunshine and lollipops like people think that it is.
Yeah.
Not that I'm bragging or anything either. I'm going to put it that way, because I'd love everyone that's hard working too. But yeah, you have to enjoy everything that you do. And when it's something that you do love, it makes it all the easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially when you're like, when you're an ambassador, when you're a voice for your realm, the ATV side-by-side realm, like just sitting here talking to you and listening to you being passionate about it, you can tell why you're so good at what you do. And the reason why I asked, somewhat about the background and some about your racing history and all those things was one of the topics I surely wanted to hit on was the fact that you threw a leg over a YFZ450R and raced the Ironman GNCC this fall. So we know that you're a little crazy, Scott, but tell me about that experience and how that came to be, and also kind of piggybacking on that, like as a two-wheel guy, obviously, like me, the listeners know me, me. Like, I'm as much a two-wheel guy as a four-wheel guy. I love them both. But were you open to the four-wheel thing from the very, very beginning? You said you kind of tooled around maybe on one as a younger person or whatever, but tell me a little bit about that, your feelings towards four wheels throughout your progression here, and then how this Ironman GNCC in 2023 came to be for you.
Yeah. I mean, the YFZ is my favorite ATV by far, hands down. I know there are a lot of diehard people with the Raptor 700, all that good stuff. But man, I could take a YFZ anywhere, have fun with it. And I've always wanted to race. That's something I'm always kind of like poking the guys on. And I don't want to look like I'm just out here doing my own thing. And so the opportunity came across last year when Johnny Gallagher ended up finally having his retirement. It was 26 plus years of racing at the pro level. And so we wanted to do like a celebratory kind of race for him, like our own little industry class. And since we work with GNCC racing so often, like they were totally open to it and it was cool. And I ended up getting, like, we were rotating through a couple of different guys. It was me, my boss, Steve Nessel, that's the motorsports marketing manager, Corey Ellis with GBC Tires, and then Mark Notman, obviously, Walker Fowler's mechanic. Yeah. And we just kind of rotated through and just had a total blast. And so the opportunity came up again this year. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to pass it down. Like, that was awesome. Like, it was so much fun. And I try to stay active. I stay healthy. But as you know, man, like, I don't care what you do on a day-to-day basis. There is nothing like getting out there, pushing yourself as hard as you possibly can, and just, letting it rip and letting it all hang out. But of course, I know that a lot of guys even had titles on the line. So if someone was behind me, like, I love to get pushed by him, because I'm not saying I'm like super fast or anything, but it's like, dude, I'll pull over, I'll let you go by. Like, I'm just sitting here enjoying myself. Like, I'm not trying to show anything off or anything like that by any means. But yeah, now I'm trying to get, like, Johnny and Mark to kind of let me do a couple more races over the year, even go to a few more. But yeah, I'll only do that in the woods, man. Like, I can do motocross track on two wheels. I give you guys everything. I am like totally just, I don't know, mental block probably on trying to take it out on a motocross track or something. I'd love to try, but it'd be total like baby steps, like starting from ground zero. And I don't know. It's just something I never even thought about doing, but definitely want to put my leg over one of these days.
We'll get right back to the show, but now a word from our sponsors. And thank you for listening to these ads. Without these great companies, none of this would be possible. Show your support for the people who support us. The official tire choice of Digging Deep, CST tires are the choice of ATV racing's elite on the track, in the woods, and every other terrain. CST tires swept the ATV racing world in 2022 as Joel Hetrick, Bryson Neal, and Bo Barron rode their Pulse MXR and Pulse HT tires to an ATV Pro Motocross title, GNCC XC1 Pro title, and 10th ATV Pro Works Racing title, respectively. Led by champion Joel Hetrick and podium contenders Bryce Ford, Jeffrey Rastrelli, and Nick Janusa, CST's Pulse MXR tire is the most trusted tire in ATV motocross today. Available in soft and standard compounds, the Pulse MXR offers the highest level of traction, most predictable cornering, and superior wear characteristics when compared to the competition. And did I mention they have a contingency program as well? Visit shop.csttires.com to join the CST takeover today, or prepare to be beat by someone who did. The best of the best choose CST. Do you? You know we're Team Blue Crew here at the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, as the Yamaha YFZ450R is the official ATV of Digging Deep. In a move started by 8-time ATVMX Pro Class National Champion Chad Wienen, who with his next championship will become the winningest champion in ATV motocross history, we are living in ATV racing's YFZ450R era. Alongside Wienen, 7-time GNCC XC1 Pro ATV National Champion Walker Fowler welcomed a pair of new champions to the Yamaha Champions Club, as the podium-proven Yamaha YFZ450R proved to be the winning choice for Joel Hetrick and Bryson Neal. This unprecedented success for the YFZ450R, its unrivaled quality and performance, and the clear fact that Yamaha is the leading OEM supporter of ATV racing has resulted in a complete Yamaha takeover within the sport quad market. Evident by the continuation of Yamaha's Blue Crew Racer Support Program, Yamaha riders will once again cash in on payout and prize opportunities in 2023, including a chance to win a brand new YFZ450R. For more info, head over to YamahaBlueCrew.com. Follow Yamaha Outdoors, as well as the new Blue Crew official channel on social media, and check out Yamaha's full proven off-road lineup at YamahaOutdoors.com today. SSI Decals, your way. SSI Decals sets the standard with the best looking decals, graphics kits, and vinyl wraps in the industry. Established in 1947, SSI took shape as an offshoot of their parent company by doing a little work for local pro Chad Wienen. Nearly 2 decades later, and fueled by a passion for ATVs, the company has flourished into one of ATV Moto's most recognized brands. From ATV Motocross, SSI has expanded into graphics and design work for top racers in GNCC, Works Racing, Pro Motocross and Supercross, off-road, and more, headlined by 8-time world champion top fuel drag racer Clay Millican. Whether your project is big or small, SSI Decals will make your identity stick. Get started today at ssidecals.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 for 10% off at checkout. Things are about to get sick. The Digging Deep ATVMX podcast is brought to you in part by DID and their wide range of championship-winning chains. From the street to the track and everywhere in between, DID chains are designed to give you the optimal riding experience with great performance and increased chain life. Consistent to the core, pick up your box of reliability today. DID, what drives you?
We are proud to be partnered with Namura Technologies. For over 20 years, Namura has pushed the limit of value and reliability in the ATV and side-by-side market. Covering more applications than anyone in the industry, Namura's full line of cast and forged pistons, connecting rods, gasket kits, and industry-leading top-end repair kits and more have led to higher overall engine performance for your machine. Visit your local dealer or online at www.namura.com and follow along on Instagram for giveaways and exciting new products in 2023. Namura Technologies, your one-stop shop engine component supplier. We are pleased to be partnered with Bronco ATV and UTV Components. Bronco has been an industry leader in replacement hard parts and accessories for all makes and models for over 15 years. With a catalog that includes a full line of electrical components, engine internals and cylinders, shock and suspension parts, winches, clutch kits, valves, carb kits, bearing kits, and drive chain parts, Bronco is your hard part source for whatever you need for whatever you ride. Available exclusively through distributors around the world, visit your local dealer or online at broncoatv.com.
For over 150 years, Valvoline has been dedicated to constant improvement and innovation across all disciplines of racing. As a proud member of Team Valvoline for nearly a decade, I have witnessed their unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of performance. Valvoline has sponsored some of the greatest names in motorsports, solidifying their position as a powerhouse within the industry. Being a part of this historically great team has been an incredible privilege. When it comes to my equipment, whether it's my daily commuting vehicles, race quads, or anything in between, I trust nothing but Valvoline. Their range of products and lubricants consistently deliver increased horsepower, durability, and engine life. I'm excited to announce Valvoline's breakthrough in performance, Valvoline Ultimate Power Sports. With up to 8 times stronger rust protection and 50% better wear protection, this cutting-edge formula ensures your ATV's engine runs smoother and longer for the ultimate ride. Tackle rugged terrains with confidence knowing your ATV's engine is equipped with the best protection available. Ready to experience the next level of performance? Head over to shop.valvolineglobal.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 at checkout to unlock an exclusive 10% off on your purchase. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to enhance your ATV's performance with Valvoline's Ultimate Power Sports engine oil. It's funny you say that too, because you think about the early days of the YFZ and the R&D testing and whatever, and it was the two-wheel guys doing that, right? It was Chris Kiefer, it was Dustin Nelson, and you still hear those guys to this day talk about, I mean, Dustin goes on to truly go down a kind of a career path with the four-wheel thing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, but it's funny you say that because the early days of the YFZ, like those were the guys doing some of the testing on the four wheels were the two-wheeled guys. But don't sell yourself short. I mean, I know that you're on a fitness journey of yourself, like you're in super good shape, but yeah, like no substitute for riding and then having to go out there and endure what people say is the gnarliest GNCC of all. So like, was there any sketchy moments? Was there any times where you were like, man, this is maybe I bit off more than I can chew? You had to ride the motocross track, right? There, I mean, that's incorporated in the GNCC course there at Ironman. So was there anything notable happen in the actual event itself?
No, the biggest thing for me was when the crowds got really big and like you're just weaving through people and it's just muddy and nasty. Like, you know, I already had super bad arm pumps. So I'm like, dude, this is not going to look good. Cause I'm still trying to set a good pace. I'm like, dude, just whatever I do, don't yard sale it, right in front of all the people and be that guy that goes up on the reel on Instagram or something.
That goes viral. Yeah,
exactly. I know. They were like, oh, yep, that was me. But that was just my thing going into it. Cause I went directly from that race to Kansas to do one of our hunts as well. So it's like, I had to keep myself, together just for that alone. But yeah, no real like close calls or anything. And, again, like maybe that was just me not pushing myself hard enough, but didn't want to go too far. But yeah, there were a couple moments where it's like, I was really coming in hot in some of these corners and also realized like, dude, I can't feel my fingers. Like my arms and shoulders are shot. Like just breathe, just relax.
Well, and in GNCC too, right? Like if you mid race or whatever, and you have arm pump, like there's no end in sight, like that's
exactly.
Yeah, that's a helpless feeling.
Yep, you don't know where you are, how to get back. You pretty much have to keep on going.
Yeah, you got no choice but to keep going. Exactly.
Yep.
So, like logistically, I'm assuming it was Yamaha's ATV that you were riding, but like, how did you guys go about building it to your liking, or is this something that's built ahead of time for it? I mean, tell me how that works, like logistically, or what's the background on how this comes together that way?
So that's probably what caused a lot more of my arm pump to happen. It was just Mark Nautman's race bike. Like that was it, So like he's way heavier than me, and he obviously he's out there, he's riding all the time. And so, I'm probably, I don't know, 50 pounds lighter than he is, So that was definitely a huge difference there. But by lap 2, I was getting settled, I was getting into it. But yeah, maybe going into next year, I can like put something together, like one of my loaner bikes or something, like build it up a little more. But I was still having a blast regardless. But also when you can have, for one, just be on a bike that Mark Nautman built, but also be racing his as well. It's like, dude, I wasn't about to pass it down or even like say like, oh yeah, you're doing this wrong, or wanting to, I don't know, get prima donna on her things. It's like, dude, just hop on, hook up the kill switch, and let's go.
Yeah, that is that's funny, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't know if they would have actually like built this thing up just for this event. Like I didn't know about all that, but you're exactly right. I mean, to have something a little more rigid than maybe would have been built specifically for you. Plus, I mean, how it is if you ride enough YFZs. Like if you can go ride a stalker, you might be able to hold on longer than if you're out there on a race quad and the thing's a little more throaty and whatever.
No joke.
I feel like even mentally, right? Like a stock quad. I mean, the YFZ platform is so good, but you're probably like mentally like, oh, I can handle this, like no problem. And then you get on a race quad and already you're probably sitting on the line there, and mentally you're thinking, man, my arms are going to get tight. Like I'm going to get tired. Everybody's watching me. Like I'm not even just some Joe Blow. Like, there's going to be some, some certain people are going to know who I am and what I'm doing, all these things. That's also a factor into this whole thing.
Oh, heck yeah. Especially when you just look down at his foot pegs alone, and you see the just like razors coming off the ends of it, man. It's dude, I want to make sure I don't slip off this thing at all. Not that you will, because it pretty much just sticks right to your feet. But my goodness, that could do some damage.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, speaking of GNCC, what a season in the woods. Bryson Neal goes back to back, right? We see 5 different winners in the XC1 class, which is amazing. I can't remember a time when we saw that, not in recent memory, obviously. And Walker Fowler, he returns from injury after missing the first 8 rounds. He adds to his legendary career, his legendary story by winning in West Virginia. So what a season for GNCC racing. I mean, Bryson Neal goes back to back, which we know was his biggest priority. He wanted to go back to back because the guys before him went multiple championships in a row. That was very much a motivating factor for him. But to see all the, kind of diversity in the class and a lot of different riders winning and guys elevating their game, all those things. I mean, GNCC had a really fun summer, a really fun year, I should say, in the woods. It was a lot of fun for all ATV enthusiasts there to take in the GNCC stuff.
Yeah, and I think that really kind of not only helped Bryson's confidence, but, because once Walker was gone, I think that had a lot of people think like, oh yeah, I can get out there, I can get that championship, like it could be mine. But man, you just see his results, Bryson's results at every single round. It's like, dude, that guy is unstoppable. I mean, he would have to make a major mistake in order to have anyone even have a chance at the championship. But yeah, just when you see other guys, they're getting up there on the podium, they're even, finishing first place too. I mean, like that's what makes the racing so much fun. You go back a few years there and it's like, when guys were battling nonstop, things are coming out on the wire. And when you're at a GNCC or an ATVMX, like you can get right up there on the track, seeing everyone having those epic battles. And that's what makes it so great for not only the racing, but just the fans too. And that's a part that I love as well. But having Bryson take home another one, I know that, like you said, man, there was no question, a lot of pressure on him for not being just that one guy on the list of champions. It was like Bryson then on to the next one, man. It's like you have to have at least, I feel like, 3+ with consistent ones if you want to be like, one of the legends, one of the guys that have been doing it for a while there.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what he can do in 2024, but he definitely wanted to go back to back. And it seemed like, I mean, there was competition throughout the season in the GNCC in the XC1 class there, but it seemed like Bryson was in control kind of the whole time. At least that's how it felt to me. So it was a GNCC season for the ages. Great for Yamaha, obviously, so many racers up front there. And it was the same on the ATV motocross side. I mean, 3 different winners, which, isn't always the norm. Another title for Joel, who went back to back now. Chad ends the season on top at Loretta's. Bryce was amazing. All 3 of them were incredible at the Quad Cross of Nations. They put in the perfect score overseas. And yeah, Yamaha domination is what we saw across the board, buddy. So credit to you and all involved. But yeah, the ATV motocross side was just as exciting. Yamaha domination over there, and a lot of fun storylines to follow. And it seems like Yamaha was pretty much involved with all of them, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we're not done yet. And I just love, like you said, when we can just have a good racing season overall, and then go over to the Quad Cross of Nations and just freaking dominate, dude. Like that was the best part. I mean, when you just knew it when that team was going overseas, like, no question, hands down, like they're just going to lay it to everyone. And thankfully, that's what they're able to do. So stoked for those guys, to say the least. And with Bryson and with Joel, I mean, I'll be seeing them this coming week now over to Wall of Champions ceremony that we have out in, now in Georgia, but we'll be doing it at the Barber Motorsports Park. And really cool deal because we make custom plaques for everyone that has like a national championship for Yamaha. And we give it to them there, but we also have one that goes on a wall that we have out in our headquarters in Marietta, Georgia. And you can just see throughout the years, like this champions that Yamaha has on 2 wheels, on ATVs, on side-by-sides, like everything. It's so cool to see. But when you even get to see everyone kind of like with that stress off, just having a good time and, enjoying the time with even Yamaha employees as well. Like I love seeing people from that different perspective too. But best of all, man, it was just like you can finally shake their hand when they, they don't have that game face on. It's like, dude, congrats. Like you earned it. You deserved it too.
Yeah, so I'm glad you touched on the Wall of Champions event too, because in recent years, it's been really fun to see, like you could see in the background of Wygant's videos, the Weed Show, and you see, there's Joel and Eli and together and it's like, it's just cool. I guess the ATV community really, really like, I don't know, they like cherish that, because that's how like the ATV community, right? Like I don't feel this way, but I feel like so many people feel like the ATV community has a chip on their shoulder, like in honestly, the dirt bike side, the 2-wheel side is always going to be big brother, and that's okay. But like at certain times, like this Wall of Champions event, where the dirt bike side and the ATV side are kind of almost like viewed as equal, when Yamaha rolls out the red carpet for Joel Hetrick or Chad Whedon in the past, just the same as they do for their other champions, that's something that I think the ATV community really notices. And that's why in recent years, I've really liked to, kind of showcase or hone in on that, because that's something that Yamaha is absolutely doing right for the ATV community. Yeah, I mean, Yamaha's doing everything right for us. They're the one left standing, right? But that's just something really cool, is to see the level playing field for a night, the way that Yamaha treats the ATVs and the 2-wheeled side the same. And that's a special thing, something that definitely doesn't go unnoticed for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Definitely good to know. And I just love too that when 2-wheel and 4-wheel guys, they get together and, we're a Yamaha family. Like they all act the same. They're all just great, good people. And it's obviously it's about results, but it's not 100% about the results. It's like when you can get out there, you're hanging out with, guys like Eli, and you even have like Bryson and Joel and everything there. And even, our WXC champions, like that's what makes it so great. It's like we're diverse product, we're diverse people, and yet we all love it. We all love just racing, the sport. And dude, it's so great too. You can go to dinner with everyone. Like you hear all these crazy stories from everyone about whether it's racing through the year, the personal side of life. Like That's just so much fun just to hear all that stuff. And it's, again, like have them like let loose a little bit and not be so worried about like that results driven orientation.
Well, it's awesome too, because like you probably don't see Joel or Chad or Bryson or name whoever, not very often. If you do see them, you're going to see them at the racetrack. You're going to see them when it's business. And I've always said you can't evaluate an athlete, what they're like on work day, on race day. Like that's their one day of the week where they got to be on point. They got to focus and whatever. It's fun to see racers outside of that and see some of these top guys that we all look up to and love in more of a relaxed setting where you can see more of their personality and what they're like and what they're into and all those things. You're hitting on something that you're absolutely right, that it's just really fun to see people in that realm.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
The following message is brought to you by Manscaped.com. The Manscaped engineering team has outdone themselves this time, creating the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, now available for purchase in the U.S. and Canada. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, an official sponsor of the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast, with this exclusive offer of 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code DiggingDeep20 at Manscaped.com. I'm one of the first people to try the new 4.0 and I am blown away. This thing is next level. What sets this trimmer apart from all the rest? The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. It features a new multi-functioning on-off switch with travel lock for those of us who like to travel. And my favorite, the new trimmer allows you to customize your trim with 4 different guard lengths, an upgrade from its predecessor that only featured 2. If you're listening, you know that good tools are a must, so wait no more to get the best tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with code DiggingDeep20 at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped.com by using code DiggingDeep20.
Hey everyone, this is Larry Mills, president of DP Brakes North America and proud partner of the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast. We at DP Brakes are a longtime supporter of ATV racing and the world leader in sintered brake technology, dominating the ATV world for decades by supporting the best four-wheel racers on the planet. This year's lineup includes Jeff Rastrelli, Mark Baldwin and Baldwin Motorsports, Ford Brothers Racing, Nick Janusa, and many more, including Mr. Digging Deep himself, Cody Jansen. Plus all the top 17 GNCC pros such as 7-time champion Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, Adam McGill, and previous champion Chris Borich. These top riders continue to appreciate the high performance and impressive durability that their DP brakes have to offer. Products that ultimately help place them on top of the podium week after week. DP brakes are available through www.dp-brakes.com, or you can purchase them through your local Parts Unlimited stocking dealer, or you can even message us, myself, Larry Mills, or DP Brakes on Instagram or Facebook. And if you have any questions about product or sponsorship support, please ask us. We are waiting for you. Join the best ATV riders in the world equipped with DP Brakes, and have a great year, everyone.
Nearing 2 decades into the brand's existence, Factory 43 is back and better than ever, continuing to make major waves in the ATV world. For the 3rd consecutive season, Factory 43 is the official aluminum parts choice of the Phoenix Racing ATV team, providing their state-of-the-art Evo Nerf bars, MX-style front bumpers, and grab bars for 2-time champ Joel Hetrick. If you're in the market to upgrade your Nerf bars, bumpers, or grab bars, head over to Factory43ATV.com to see their full line of industry-leading products available for all makes and models. Head over to Factory43ATV.com today.
Yeah, and even like, with Bryson, with Joel, like I literally didn't even actually got to meet them until this year, like this racing season. Like, because when I go to a race, like I don't want to get in their business or anything. Because for one, like I don't exactly do the racing stuff. I try to help out as much as I can, and I obviously promote as much as I can. But I'm not gonna like go into their pits or anything and just like start grinding out or like just ask them a bunch of questions or anything like that. It's just like, dude, I'm just gonna step back, let them do this thing. But whether it was texting with Joel or with Bryce, and it's like, I finally got to meet those guys. Like, dude, don't worry about it, man. Like, it's fine. Like, just come by whenever you want to. I'm like, dude, you have your thing that you need to take care of. Like, I don't want to get in the way. Like, don't feel you need to treat me special because I'm Yamaha. Like, I'm just trying to just enjoy the racing too and let you do your thing. But yeah, they're all good people. And so it makes it all the easier.
Yeah, well, you're talking about 2 great guys there, and 2 guys that come off as like pretty relaxed too. So, I feel like they're at the peak of their powers. So we know Yamaha's in such a good place now in obviously in the sport ATV realm and across the board. But, 11 or 12 years ago, it seemed like it was you could almost call it a radical move for Chad Wienen to choose to ride a Yamaha. Now we saw it. I mean, Thomas Brown was on one at the time. He won an overall at that point. He had, got the first one on the YFZ and all those things, the YFZ450R, I should say. But, it seemed like when Chad announced he was going to, go his own way and be supported by Yamaha and do all those things, it definitely wasn't a safe move. Now, here in 2023, Yamaha is the ruler of sport quads. It's almost like things have come full circle because in 2004, Yamaha changed the game with the first production 450 sport quad. And now here we are on the doorstep of this 20th anniversary that you had mentioned. And, we're living in now what I've dubbed the YFZ450R era. So what an amazing thing that's been. On the GNCC side, it's been dominant for a number of years, probably dating back to prior to Chad going his way on a Yamaha. But we've just come so far in the last 11 or 12 years where, like I said, seemed like a little bit of a radical move. It's been perfect since day one. But now it's like, shoot, you can't barely compete if you're not on one. And to come that far, and like I said, full circle in 20 years then with Yamaha jumping onto the scene with the YFZ, it, taking the sport by storm. It was the quad that everybody was, all of a sudden shifting to as quickly as they could. And now here we are again, where the market share is way up. There's more YFZ 450Rs than ever. These top of these classes, it seems like every rider's got one, especially in the production classes. Man, what an awesome world to live in as a Yamaha enthusiast.
Yeah, it's definitely great. I mean, even now you're seeing more and more racers switch over to Yamaha. I mean, if you want to be competitive these days, I mean, you pretty much have to be in a Yamaha, but it is just so great. I mean, when you get guys that, they definitely took a radical, bold move by switching over at the time, like Chad all those years ago, but you see where they are now. And it's like, you don't even think about, Chad being with anyone other than Yamaha.
Exactly.
And when you go through 20 years, like we've always prided ourselves on being proven off-road, and that's basically made up of like capability, comfort, and confidence. A lot of part of that is durability, reliability, and that's something we consistently want to have all throughout all of our products. And that even goes into racing. Like, we develop a lot of stuff based upon racer feedback, or even just, that's part of our testing regimen, if you will. And for the 20 years that we now have with the YFZ450R, the 2024 model year, I'm trying to put something together to like I have one big hoopla, like a little celebration on it. Want to try to get a bunch of racers down to the factory, have them sign an autographs to everyone that's building the vehicles. Because a lot of people still probably don't even know we build all of our side-by-sides and all of our full-size ATVs. So basically everything four-wheel product-wise, except for like the little youth models, down at our factory in Newnan, Georgia. And like, I love being a part of Yamaha, but when you see people down there building them, like they put so much pride into every last nut, bolt, plastic, everything that goes on that vehicle. And I want to get the racers down there and just have them enjoying it, with the people that built essentially their bike that they're out there going winning championships with. So trying to time that right around Daytona.
Okay.
We'll see if I can put that together, but it's
Nice.
literally just in the infancy stages right now. And since I'm going to see Joel and Bryson next week, and I'm just going to bounce off them too, because I'd love to have them out. And yeah, when you can go through 2 decades, going from essentially nothing to full on dominance, man, it's definitely one great thing to kind of put that feather in the cap and keep on riding out as long as we can. And of course, I know it's about that time of year where all of a sudden all the rumors start that, Yamaha's getting out of the sport, like they're discontinuing the YFZ, like all this stuff. It's like, no, dude, like we're committed. We're in it for the long haul. Don't worry about it. And that's why you're seeing more and more races come over to us, because we're not going to stop. And we was plan on going full throttle at this point.
Yeah, well, I love to hear that about the event to kind of get everybody together. You had said in the past how invested and passionate everybody working down there is. It's one of those things where you guys could pound the table about these things being American made, and you maybe don't 100%, but it's just one of those things at Yamaha's core. That's a really, really cool thing that these things are built here in the US, there in Georgia. So yeah, if there's anything that we can help with as far as getting everybody together or making connections for you, whatever, please let me know. But yeah, what a fun era it is. I mean, I think of the 250R era, right? When that was the quad to have in the 80s and 90s. And that's how the YFZ450R is today. It's a really cool time to be kind of an ATV enthusiast, an ATV lover here. It's a really cool thing for me to be a part of as a Yamaha person now. And it's funny because there's been a couple times in recent weeks or months where my dad was like, why didn't we switch to a Yamaha sooner? And I remind him that I'm like, well, it wasn't that many years ago where they weren't. It was just a little bit more of a question mark, let alone that I had, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Honda parts and multiple quads and a zillion engines and all these things. But eventually, we pulled the trigger on it, and I'm so glad that we did. I wish I could go back in time and do this sooner. It was such an upgrade for my program, and it made everything so much more fun for me. Like, not only was I not having to worry about my stuff taking a crap, but also it's just a more fun machine to ride. I've loved every second since I switched, and just so much of what Yamaha is about, is something that I've become very passionate about. But I pounded the table at the beginning, for all the people asking me why I was switching. And it's like, man, I feel passionate. Like, we need to support the brand that's continuing to support the sport that we love. And very much like, I don't know what things look like today. I mean, obviously Yamaha's passion has been there, but I don't know what Yamaha, at least in the ATV motocross realm, looks like if Chad doesn't switch those, 10, 11, 12 years ago. But also, I don't know what ATV motocross here in America looks like if Yamaha isn't doing what they're doing. So on behalf of the entire ATV racing, especially ATV motocross community, we are so thankful for Yamaha. But yeah, like I said, I've been saying, and I think I say it in the ad that we've been running for the last year or so, that we're living in the YFZ450R era. And it's true. I don't know, however many years from now, maybe, new quads will come out, maybe not, who knows? Maybe we'll be riding YFZ450Rs for 50 years. But this is the era that is the equivalent to the 250R era. It's the YFZ450R era. And like I said, for me, it's pretty rad to be a part of that.
No, that's definitely a great perspective and a great way of putting it. I mean, I'll definitely take it, no question about it. And thankfully, championships are coming along with it, and that's why we love it, and that's why we support the sport. Because when you were on a different brand before, I still wanted to be a sponsor of your podcast because you were doing the right thing. You were promoting the program, and it wasn't like me trying to, be all conniving and get you to Yamaha. It's no, dude, you're doing the right thing. And that's why, we want to do the right thing as well and support the sport. So thankfully, we still continue to have the product that does that. And we're going to be here as long as we can. So definitely a great perspective. And the decades of dominance will continue.
Yeah. So, and it's funny too, because, certain people at that time that were like, well, Yamaha's on your show, but you ride Hondas yet and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, Yamaha is the easiest. Scott, those guys, they're the easiest people that I deal with, because they're, when we're outlining hey, this is, what our agreement is, right? We run the ad, we say, your brand a few times, all these things. And I remember you just being like, yeah, whatever. We just, like what you're doing, whatever you do, don't feel like you got to go out of your way. And I just, again, that too is telling about how Yamaha is continuing to invest in this sport that we love. That is just such a special thing to me. So kind of shifting gears then, 2024 looks bright yet again, just like you kind of touched on. There's hopefully decades of dominance coming. Like you said, we saw Chad and Walker signed their extensions. I presume Joel and Bryson will be back on their Phoenix Yamahas. And in the YFZ450R era will continue. But Scott, obviously can't thank you enough for your time. I love chatting about my YFZ. So this conversation has felt very much the same as that. But kind of a closing thought here. Should we expect anything more as far as excitement in 2024 goes? Anything special? You've touched on a few things now that, may happen, that get together possibly in Georgia or whatever, but anything special going on, anything exciting to touch on before we get out of here? Especially, I guess the reason why I asked is I didn't know if anything special would happen with that 20th anniversary of the YFZ.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to pump that up as much as we can, because it's kind of one of those things too, where it's at what point do you really make a celebration? Is it 20 years, 25 years? But we're going to be as audible about it, if you will, as we can. But I think other than that, really, if anyone that's listening, if they're on a Yamaha, if they haven't already, sign up for a Blue Crew program. That's BLUCRU. We're doing a lot more engagement with it. And it's kind of turning and evolving from a straight up racer program to more of like an owners type of program. To we're doing special rides for, their special invite for Yamaha owners that learned about it through the Blue Crew program. And we're just trying to grow and develop that even more, and just making that more part of our events overall. So definitely check it out at YamahaBlueCrew.com and see all the details there. But just more good stuff to come, to say the least, and looking forward to keeping the good stuff going.
Continuing to invest in the sport that we love. Scott, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. It's been such an honor to have you guys and have Yamaha in our corner at Digging Deep, as well as my personal kind of race program. Like I said, I appreciate you guys and everything you do for us so very much. And it continues to be a dream come true. Like I've touched on a few times here and there, but as a little boy who loved his blasters to no end, it's been pretty darn cool to have Yamaha patches on my jerseys and be riding a Yamaha. All these things to be associated with you guys is pretty special. So let me say this one final time. I can't thank you guys enough for everything. It's truly a pleasure, and something that I don't take lightly, that I don't take for granted, pal.
No, that's our pleasure. It really does mean a lot. And honestly, though, we're the ones that are honored, and just glad that you're getting that same kind of feeling.
Yeah. Well, Scott, thank you for everything. You're the man. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, pal?
Sounds good. See you in Daytona.
That's Yamaha's Scott Newby signing off on the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast, brought to you by UPP Racing and UPPRacing.com. See you, buddy.
Take care.
Success in the ATVMX world is similar to what creates financial success as well. The right people, the right advice, and more importantly, hard work and the benefit of an ongoing relationship as situations change and adversity is experienced. Do you have the right financial advisor to help you reach your goals? Haymauer Financial Group can create a personalized, goal-based plan to help your family prepare for whatever life brings. Call me, Scott Haymauer, at Haymauer Financial Group, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, at 920-338-8150. That's 920-338-8150. Offices located in beautiful De Pere, Wisconsin, with registrations and clients nationwide.
Headlined by their 4130 Chromoly, Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply is a full-service steel supplier of new and surplus steel, aluminum, and stainless steel products. This racing family-owned full metal service center and concrete product supplier comes with over 30 years of experience serving the entire United States from their central Midwest location. As the #1 choice for nationwide shipments and with available next-day delivery in select areas, LSE has you covered near or far. 4130 is not just the chromoly tubing and plate used in the building of chassis for an array of motorsports applications, but it is also the name of the newest addition to the Pro Paddock, with riders Jaden JJ Launderville and Max Lindquist, introducing the new 4130 Motorsports team. Launderville Steel offers a large selection of material for any project, including their concrete division that can supply everything you need to complete your next business or personal project. For a quote or more info, visit LaundervilleSteel.com today or give them a call at 715-675-6193. That's 715-675-6193. Here at Digging Deep, we have an obvious passion for ATVs and pridefully enjoy sharing the sport's history. Since 2019, when the podcast was born, we've been working to partner with individuals who share our passion, but one man and his vision had been missing from our partnership group. Until now. When it comes to the sport's history, the hallowed grounds of Binky's Forever ATC Museum has it all. Binky Tapscott's mind-blowing collection of 3- and 4-wheelers has preserved history by spanning all makes and models, from Honda 3-wheelers in chronological order to unique builds that shaped ATV racing as we know it, like Doug Gust's iconic DRZ-powered hybrid thumper and everything in between. There's no denying Binky's passion, a passion that we certainly relate to here at Digging Deep. Binky's goal is to share his amazing collection with fellow enthusiasts by making his prized possessions accessible to the public via scheduled visits. Follow Forever ATC Museum on Facebook and watch foreveratc.com for further updates on possibly getting a chance to see Binky's Forever ATC Museum for yourself. We are proud to welcome Binky's Forever ATC Museum to the Digging Deep family. As the #1 podcast in ATV racing, it's only right that we partner with the industry leaders in suspension tuning. Insert Impact Solutions. Impact Solutions is a full-service ATV and side-by-side suspension center specializing in the revalving and service of your motocross and off-road suspension. With over 25 years of elite-level knowledge, experience, and testing with riders of all ages and ability levels, Jay Goebel and the Impact crew strive to exceed clients' expectations for service and setup. Impact Solutions is the official Elka Suspension Service Center of the United States, offering unmatched product knowledge and experience. Whether you're in need of service, parts, warranty, sales, or technical support, Impact Solutions has you covered. Head over to impactsolutionsatv.com or give them a call today. With the desire to keep you in the race, Ultimate Poly Products offers the Ultimate Protection collection of case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Founded on quality in 1998, this family-owned and operated business produces products created by racers for racers. These industry-leading products are proudly made and manufactured in the USA, with their case savers being made of the highest quality American-made polyurethane on the market and designed to completely conform to your engine case to help prevent case damage from a thrown chain, because no one wants to be a spectator on race day. Join top pro riders like Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, John Glotta Jr., Adam McGill, Cole Richardson, and more by using UPP Racing products. Use discount code DiggingDeep15 at uppracing.com to save on your next order. Ultimate Poly Products, made to last longer so you can ride more. Thanks for listening, and remember to support our partners. Now back to the show. Here's to living in the YFZ450R era, and here's to many more years of Blue Crew domination. Fun fact, my first race on a 450 ever was in 2004 at a local flat track event. I had just turned 12, and I finished third in the B class, riding, you guessed it, my dad's YFZ450. Awesome. Thanks to tonight's featured guest, Yamaha's Scott Newby. Thanks to producer Dallas Jansen, my brother, for all his hard work. Thanks to Brooke and AMA official Harv Whipple. Thanks to all of our donors. You know who you are. We appreciate you so much. Thanks to all of our partners. CST Tires. Go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Namura Technologies, Bronco ATV and UTV Components, Lauderdale Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, the financial advice of the Haymauer Financial Group, DP Brakes, Factory 43, Binky's Forever ATC Museum, Impact Solutions, Ultimate Poly Products, UPP Racing. Use code DiggingDeep15 at uppracing.com, and Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with code DiggingDeep20 at manscaped.com. Support the brands that support our show, and don't forget to use those codes to save. Find it all on our website, and be sure to click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner for all your gear and parts needs and to help us out in the process. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. Shop.diggingdeepatvmx.com is the place to check out all of our Digging Deep merchandise. ATVfantasy.com is the spot to check out ATV Fantasy if you're trying to scratch that itch leading up to the 2024 ATV Fantasy season. And if you're looking for another easy way to help support us, visit our website and click the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee buttons. This allows you to set up a one-time or monthly contribution to support our efforts. Follow the show on social media, Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, and myself, Cody Jansen, for additional content, coverage, and more fun stuff as we navigate through this off-season leading up to the 2024 season. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. Wherever you find podcasts, you'll find the Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast. All episodes, additional podcast providers, sponsor links, and discount codes, show merchandise, fantasy info, and more can all be found on our website, diggingdeepatvmx.com, so check that out today. Be a friend, tell a friend. Please download, subscribe, rate, review, and share. And with that, for Scott Newby, Brooke Jansen, Dallas Jansen, and I'm your host, Cody Jansen. Thanks for listening to and making us the most listened to podcast in ATV racing, with more than 243,000 downloads last month in 106 total countries. Until next time, thanks for joining us in Digging Deep with the Stars of ATV Motocross. Things are crashing and burning here at the Digging Deep podcast, much like the Titanic.
Those guys were hauling ass, for real.
I remember watching Doug Gus, I don't know who it was, Steel City, running the same times Friday afternoon as James Stewart was on Sunday back then. It was mental. I've never seen quads go that fast.
Quadlers are freaking